On June 27th, 2020, the University of Southern California denied my request to defer a year. Unenrolling left me heartbroken at first, but ended up being the best and most influential choice I've made in my life.
1, 2, 3.
One, two, three.
You know when you can just feel that there is about to be a turning point in your life? You have no idea what is coming, but you feel deep down that something big is brewing? My life started to feel like a movie.
You have to start romanticizing.
All my friends had gone to school, and I had 2 weeks to myself before I left for Hawaii. I took this time to enjoy my last moments of alone time before I had constant human interaction for 3 months. I felt so at peace, like I was sure I was on my correct path with no doubts. All my loose ends had been tied up, and I could finally move on to the next part of my life, which was in freaking Hawaii of all places. What the hell? I remember writing that I had no idea what to expect. Literally no expectations. All I knew was I was going to be with 11 other people around my age and do some conservation work. I could have never predicted the experience that was actually coming.
Shut up.
It is so weird to recall sitting in the Honolulu airport waiting for my flight to Hilo while the people in my program started to trickle in. I have a vivid memory of my first time seeing each person, and comparing my first impression to now knowing what each person would contribute to my life honestly makes me uneasy. I learned and experienced so much. How to live with other people, how to cook for a large amount of people, how to live out of a duffel bag for 3 months, what it's like to do volunteer work, what it's like to be objectified by people that you have to live with, what it's like to live in a tent, what it's like to fall for someone who actually fell for you back, what it's like to be surrounded by people who appreciate you 24/7. The list is never ending. I saw shooting stars, I jumped out of an airplane, I learned to surf, I snorkeled in the middle of the ocean with rare whales. Those 3 months were genuinely the most amazing 3 months of my life, thus far. I was truly thriving. Even though the last few days were spent constantly on the verge of a panic attack because I didn't know how to handle everyone leaving, it completely altered my mindset. I'm constantly looking up and notice beauty everywhere. In the moment, Hawaii was amazing. It was the best time of my life and a dream come true. I was in a tropical vacation spot for 3 months, getting close to 11 other people my age. At some moments, it felt like being on vacation with my best friends. But as I've drifted farther and farther away from that time, I've realized that it really was not all that glamorous. 6 girls, 6 guys, 2 leaders. Hawaii was a social experiment. We joked that it was like Love Island, but really, it ultimately taught me about how we are conditioned to get male validation. I hate the way I acted in Hawaii. I was a simp for the guys. I finally noticed how all the girls in the group had at least some point were feeding for validation from the guys. What made it worse was that this wasn't usually even for romantic or attractive validation, but for platonic validation. It revealed the truth to me that we are conditioned as women to believe that if guys want to hang out with me, I'm cool. When the guys went off for guy time, I would get annoyed that I was being left with the other girls, when in reality I love all those girls so much. I was so blinded by being chosen as the most rational and nice girl that my behavior became disgusting. The worst thing is the guys could not care less about whether the girls liked them or not. One guy even told me, the fact that all the guys here like you should make you feel really good about yourself. When guys want to be friends with you, you're doing something right. You know what I was doing right? I was being a pushover who just laughed along with all the jokes and didn't speak out like the other girls did. I'm being dramatic now, because I love all the guys as well. I had so much fun with them. Hawaii just taught me how ingrained it is for girls to seek validation from men platonically, whilst it hardly ever goes the other way around. It's messed up. With all that, I miss Hawaii so much and everyone I met. I cannot discount how influential it was for how the rest of my gap year played out, and it introduced some people who I'm still close friends with 7 months later. December. I came home. What they don't tell you about a gap year is all the friends you'll make and become so close to, and then all of a sudden be separated from with no promise of ever seeing them again. That's how I found myself crying in LAX, the same 4 Christmas songs blasting through the terminal on repeat after saying goodbye to someone. I was in a shitty Christmas movie. Coming home from Hawaii marked the beginning of my bleak gap year period. From December to March, I was thrusted into a spiritual awakening, for lack of a better term. I started out extremely anxious, a level of anxiety I hadn't experienced since my parents got divorced. I had no excitement for the future. I didn't want to be around people, but I didn't want to be alone. Everything just looked bleak. With my post-winter spiritual perspective, I realized my anxiety was my intuition telling me something was wrong. I was holding on to something or someone that needed to be let go of. I had a full-on breaking point where I started sobbing in front of 2 guys from my high school I had not seen in like 6 months. Kind of hilarious though. When the situation finally ended, I felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I can't do it.
And things started flowing in my life again. I had big plans to go to Belize and get scuba certified, but was just waiting for one friend from Hawaii to be able to do it with me, and that turned into me waiting 2 months for him to say he couldn't. I made plans to go to Costa Rica and volunteer by myself for the end of March. I visited my cousins and caught myself smiling at nothing, just the moment. That hadn't happened since Hawaii. Costa Rica, what I am probably most proud of. This was me testing my faith in the universe. I flew into San Jose, having no idea what to expect for the next 4 weeks. I didn't even know where in Costa Rica I was going. By the end of the night, I was in a homestay with 10 other people, mostly Brits. I volunteered with sea turtles for 2 weeks, but the rest of the 3 weeks were left to me to fill up. I didn't push it. I just had faith that things would fall into place. I found 2 British girls to travel with and met up with some Hawaii friends for the last week. Costa Rica opened the door to a world I didn't realize actually existed. Everyone I met had no idea how long they would be traveling for, and no idea where they were going next. I went there alone and left with so much experience and friends around the globe under my belt. I realized that nothing really mattered in any reality I was living, because I would always be able to make a life for myself somewhere else. Costa Rica unexpectedly made me appreciate New Jersey and familiarity 10 times more. As much as I loved Costa Rica, coming home was the best feeling in the world. All my friends were back from college, the weather was getting warm, and anyone who lives in New Jersey knows that NJ summers are the best. Yet, as much as I was so glad to be where I was, I started having problems processing things. Being home felt like it was summer 2020 again. Nothing had happened in between. But no, my life had done a 360 and I had made so many friends and had so many experiences that I just could not process. I was constantly freaking out because it felt like time was moving away from me before I could even realize what had already happened. I was in a race with life that I was never going to win. I had a hard time processing that there was no promise I would ever see the people I met this year again, and all our lives are going on their own separate trajectories. I forced myself to continue my own trajectory and planned 2 more trips for the summer. Guatemala. Literally manifested that. Cannot believe Anna and I made it there. We finished our 3-week trip in Belize, getting scuba certified, along with my birthday, so it really felt like I was closing out a cycle. I'd planned for months to get certified in Belize, and it finally happened. I remember sitting on a dock there and thinking, wow, I can't believe I actually made it. I freaking made it. Completing basically all the goals I set for myself did give me closure for the year. For the most part. The biggest plot twist was yet to come. My best friend from Hawaii visited for a week right after I got home from Belize, and ironically, while she was here, we found out some things. Like I said, Hawaii really set up the rest of the year. The year was amazing, but one experience was genuinely the worst experience I've ever had in my life. Finding out someone's true intentions 7 months after the fact while still holding on to this great perspective I had of them and caring for them all those months later kind of freaking sucks. But it revealed a lot of secrets and other aspects of my life unintentionally that needed to be revealed. The recurring theme of that situation was shining a light on shadow sides and aspects of my life that I had subconsciously been ignoring my whole life. So, with that, even though I think this person may genuinely be evil, I am very, very grateful. It unintentionally taught and revealed so much to me, and I believe it is a big reason why I changed so much this year. So, thank you, potential narcissist, and thank you to everyone else who I met this year. I am literally in awe.
Polar bear plunge, go.
All my friends are wasted.
What day is it, Rachel?
Thanksgiving.
What are you making?
So we made a big. Oh wait, you should check on that.
What about you? What are you making?
It's something to make mac and cheese, but pasta won't cook.
You? What are you making?
What am I making? Mashed potatoes. Yeah.
Ah, milk. I can try to help you.
Strain the pasta.
There's Lucy on the phone. And Paige on the phone. Bill's head.
Hello.
Ah, wow, this is great stuff. That looks so good.
This is such a good vlog.
This looks like 10 out of 10 watermelons to me.